Hi everyone, I'm Libby and welcome back to my channel. I'm doing my first ever bullet journal today for 2025. Let's see how it goes. I don't really know exactly what I'm doing, but I've watched a few videos of other people doing it and I've always loved the idea of bullet journaling. So as an ADHD girly, I'm gonna see how I get on with this. I've been meaning to get myself, more prepared, more fresh for the new year. And yeah, something I've always struggled with, especially with my ADHD, is productivity and getting myself organised. So I thought bullet journaling seems like a good way to go. I'm going to do a lot of little doodles, probably make it more visually expressive. So it tricks my brain into thinking it's a fun task to do. Well, at least that's what I'm hoping it will achieve. But we shall see. If you're new to bullet journaling too, or just looking for fresh ideas, grab your journal and let's do this together. So yeah, let's get straight to it.
So firstly, this journal that I bought was actually from Amazon. Live for the Little Moments, got my initials put on there. I think the company that was selling them is called Fayco Papier. So it's an A5 just dotted line journal, and I really liked it just because it was quite basic but then also cute at the same time. So this first page I'm doing just a basic hello page, hello 2025. The pens that I'm using for this are Micron for the black and then the Sarasa clip pens for the red one. Using some washi tape just to make it a bit cuter. Again, I wanted to keep this quite simple and sophisticated, but and clean looking. I think that's the kind of aesthetic I was going for, but while also giving it a bit of an extra little thing there. The Sarasa pen, I've never actually had these before, but I saw a lot of people raving about them. Love the colours, but when I was doing it, it was actually quite difficult for the pen ink to come out, but I don't know if that was just because I was using it for the first time. So yeah, this next page I'm doing kind of a quote and drawing page. So the quote I chose was, "This year I get to love and be myself unapologetically." Kind of just means a lot to me because last year was a really tough time for me. So this year I'm gonna be kinder to myself because other people weren't very kind to me, so I'm gonna be kind to myself and be myself. So that was the reason for that. Again, I'm just using the Micron pens for the black and all the dot work. I think I was using the 03 for this bit. I love dot work, so that's what I was doing it in. And then again, keeping with the kind of red and pink theme, I was using the Sarasa pen. I don't know if I'm even saying that correctly, but that's how I'm saying it. Sarasa. The red for the unapologetically bit. And I'm going to kind of keep this colour scheme for the rest of the pages, really. Just kind of keep a theme going. So I'm doing sort of black and red and pinks and maybe a bit of like brownie sort of colour, just to keep it with the same theme throughout. But when it comes to the actual month pages, what I might do is have a different colour scheme for each month, but I guess I'll just see how I feel when it gets to that. I actually forgot to clear up space when I filmed that, so I had to fast forward for the end bit. But I basically just use a ruler for the lines, just to kind of keep with giving, like Sacred Heart tattoo vibes. So for the calendar page, I really love doing sketchy ink drawings for sort of dots and line work kind of incorporated into a more broken sketchy vibe. Don't know how to explain it better than that, but this is what I was doing. I was kind of going for like Parisian gate, iron sort of fancy design there, and I think it turned out quite well. I kind of just like that sort of style. Again, going in with a micron just for the months. I actually really love how this page turned out in the end. I did end up adding some highlighter just for, I think it was the days of the week. I just highlighted that, so it actually ended up looking a lot better once I'd added it. It was just a pink, pale pink highlight for that top section, and I think it really brought the whole thing together. But sadly I forgot to film that part, because I went back through when I flipped through and I was like, oh, I should probably add that actually, and it really made a difference. So maybe I'll add that, show you guys at some point. So yeah, and then just filling in all of the days. I suppose this is the most time consuming part, but I really do think it turned out well in the end, so I'm glad I did it. I was also toying with the idea of adding more colour to the heart of the drawing, but I chose not to, just because I kind of prefer the more simple colour vibe. I'm just not really into too much colour. I like to keep it quite neutral, I suppose. So for the next page, I was doing my goals for the year. I actually did start to draw this first. As you can see in the first left box, I'd already completed it. It's because I was so excited to fill this page out that I thought I'd give it a go and see how it turned out. For a while I was actually thinking, like, as soon as I did it, I was like, oh, should I actually add all of the frames? But in the end, I was like, yeah, I suppose it adds a bit of detail to the page. But I was kind of wondering whether it was too much. As I said, I kind of like to keep things simple, and this kind of just added a bit, I don't know if it was like too much going on, if you know what I mean. Especially once I ended up filling out all of my goals. Kind of a lot going on the page, but you know, it's done now. And yeah, maybe next time if I was to do this again, I wouldn't add too much frame. But at the same time, like, it does, at the end when it's all done, it does look nice together. Sometimes I feel like less is more. But yeah, so again, I was doing the same style I like to do, the kind of sketchy dot and dashy line work vibe, and again with the 03 micron. Those actually tend to be my favourite pens, even for my actual artwork. When I'm doing my sketches and drawings, I tend to always go for the Sakura Micron pens, just because they're just so nice. They have so many different line widths, line weights, and I just love it. I think they're a very classic go-to for me. So here it is finishing up. You can't really see it, but with the pens, I was also using the Sarasa pens. I was using like a brownie colour as well as like a dark purple, and then for some of the writing, I used the dark red. So it's kind of like red, black, to kind of break it up a bit, but the camera doesn't seem to pick up too much of the differentiation between the different colours. But again, I was having a bit of difficulty with the Sarasa pens, just in terms of like how much ink was coming out. But I have since used them and they tend to be working pretty well again. I think maybe it was just the fact that it was the first time using them. But yeah, make sure to rub out my pencil lines. And there we go. Add some washi tape as well, just to add a bit more colour. Again, going for that sort of pinky, neutral pinky mauve colour. I don't really know what you call it, but kind of a dusty rose. Yeah, dusty pink. So next pages, I was doing future tasks. So again, I was putting the month in the columns, as well as another like days of the month underneath it, and then I have it split into personal tasks, and then at the bottom more like work or content related tasks. Since using this, I actually don't think I'll add work and content tasks in the bottom row. I think I might just keep it all personal, because I tend to have more personal things going on like differently each month, whereas in terms of the work and content, it tends to be just different daily tasks, so I don't tend to use that section as much because I just use it when it comes to the actual day planner part of this journal. So I mean, if I was to give anyone tips, I probably wouldn't add that section unless you have different, work commitments, maybe going on work trips, that sort of thing. Whereas I don't tend to do that. I'm mainly working from home, so it doesn't really apply to me. But maybe it will for you. So unless you have a lot going on, I probably wouldn't add that if I were you. Just lining it again, I was keeping to the red, black, and I think like a dark purple for the lines, like the column lines, just because I wanted to keep with the theme. And I definitely do like the fact that it's dot work lines rather than actual lines. I was really toying with just getting plain paper or whether I was to get actual lined paper rather than the grid dot work. But I'm happy I went for the dots, to be honest, because sometimes I feel like with lines it kind of just keeps you restricted into that box, whereas I feel like with the dots you have the option there to stay within the lines, but then you can also branch out a bit more. So I liked the freedom of it a bit more. So happy I went for that. And then just did the same for the next lot of months. I would have tried to speed this up for you guys a little bit, but it wouldn't let me speed it up any more than this, so I'm afraid you're gonna have to watch it again. But I ended up sketching in, I don't know if you noticed me sketching in some of the lines rather than actually using a ruler. Again, it was just because the pen wasn't working that well. But like I said, eventually I think they do tend to work a little bit better, but I was just having a bit of difficulty with it, so I had to sketch the lines in, but I think it turned out all right. So here I am doing it again, and I might just quickly cut through this to this next bit actually, because it's just, you've seen this already, we don't need to see it again. So I went in with a highlighter just to highlight those days. I think it just gives it an extra pop. Did it for the next page as well. The highlighters I used are actually called, again from Amazon, but the brand was called Rumyve. It's Rumyve. I got the ones that are in all pale colours. I love the colours of these. Some of them are a bit too light. I mean, they're very pale, but I quite like that they just give like a tiny hint of colour. The main ones I use tend to be the green and the blue one and the pink one that you just saw. As well, there's a beige one actually that I do use quite a bit. But there's another real pale pink, which I don't tend to use that often. So for this next page, I'm doing a how to achieve my goals breakdown page. I kind of just did this because I have a lot of goals, and it just kind of clears my mind a bit to have a few of the main ones just delved into with a bit more depth of what I need to achieve, when I need to achieve it, and that sort of thing. So that's why I've done this quick page. Again, doing just a dotty, dashy kind of border for it, just to give it a little bit extra, detail in there with the dots, and making it look more like an actual page spread, rather than just a load of writing. Because basically what I plan to do with this page is to grab a few of the main goals that I have that need more delving into, and literally just write down exactly what I kind of need to do, like bullet points of each sort of next step for it. So for the next pages, I've done Reel and TikTok ideas, and then the next page, YouTube ideas, because I want to get more into YouTube this year, because I haven't yet done much YouTube. This is only my second video, so I want to put down the ideas I have, to kind of keep more on top of what I've got going on. So I'm going to create a kind of Dutch door, I think it's called. I could be completely making that up. I think it's called a Dutch door, of the page, because I thought I needed more space for Reel and TikTok ideas. So I've got what my idea actually will be, and then space to write it, and then I've got a little section with D for when it's done. I can then tick box that in the corner, but using again the same pens as usual, just again to keep in with that theme of the colours, keep it more neutral, keep it more with a theme going on. And then I'm highlighting again that section with the D, just again to make it more obvious as a section itself. And then here we are cutting out that page. This is actually a lot harder than I thought it would be, but thankfully I made sure to do the actual writing, first with the ink around the border, because if I hadn't, I think it would be even harder to actually do the border whilst it's already cut. Adding more washi tape, again keeping with the kind of beigey pinky theme, give a little bit extra. I didn't really know what else to add to these pages, because I wanted to keep them kind of more simplistic because I knew there'd be a lot of writing on them, but I still felt it just needed a little bit more, so that's why I went in with the washi tape, because to be fair, I haven't used it that much throughout this whole spread, so thought to add a little bit, just to add a bit more colour to the borders. So this next page, I'm doing a reading page, because again, one of my goals is I want to read more books this year. I have so many books, to the point where I don't allow myself in bookshops anymore, because I know I'll want to buy more books even though I haven't yet finished the books I already have, because I just love a good book. I love the look of books. I love that my room is filled with books. I just love them, but I know I need to actually have some motivation to actually finish reading some of them. So I thought adding a reading tracker in there with a title, the author, and then a start and finish date may help me actually finish more books this year, and then I can allow myself more book buying. But until then, we've got to do this. We have to finish some books. So yeah, got the title and the author. I did a little theme of kind of candles. You can see that again in the sketchy sort of style with just the micron pen, inky, sketchy, dashy, liney vibe as per usual. I was thinking of old Victorian times, gothic vampires, for this sort of candle lit look for the reading page, kind of like an old library was what I was sort of going for. So that's what I did. There I've actually used the beige highlighter that I think I mentioned earlier, so I did add a few things beige in there. Also on the other page I forgot to mention, I've got look up, places to go, podcast, film, TV, and then hobbies to explore or get better at, and just again some washi tape at the bottom there, kind of really basic, but just so I can jot down things that I want to remember. Then I've got a things I want and I need page, again keeping it really simple for that, just because again there's going to be a lot of writing on that page probably. Oh, there's my cat going. And I kind of just wanted it really simplistic, So I've got big things at the top, which I like the style of the flowy writing, and then I want, and then I need. And then on the next page, I'm actually creating I don't know how to describe it, a kind of motivational, mindfulness, affirmational page. So this is going to have a lot of affirmations in the middle of it. So I'm going to write, personal things that I want to, I suppose, celebrate about myself. Good things to try and, build my self-esteem up a little bit. Because like with what I wrote on the first page, I'm trying to learn to love myself a little bit more this year. So it's going to have some reminders in the middle of the mirror there, just little things that can perk me up. I can read back and try and remember, like I am a good person, I am worthy, that sort of thing. And again, I'm using the style of the sketchy sort of line work, kind of really messy vibe, but also just with the black gothic look and the romantic vibes with the gilded mirror sort of vibe. And that is the whole thing there. So just a little flip through. And that's that. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Bye!